Now to the issue that's splitting Christians as well as the major political parties in the run-up to the election. With both the UK and New Zealand passing legislation to allow same-sex couples to marry, activists in Australia are now hoping to use that momentum to push for change here. They're targeting key marginal seats across the country, including the seat of Perth, which has a large gay and lesbian community. Claire Moody has the story.
What do we want? When do we want them?
Love, love, love.
It's a global movement that's dividing political parties, Christians and the gay community itself.
Love, 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 love.
We're at a crossroads.
Do we want to, change such a significant bedrock of our society?
The Prime Minister, Kevin Rudd, thinks we do.
All of us should be allowed to marry the one we love. That's why, if I'm elected Prime Minister, I will support marriage equality legislation within the first 100 days of the Parliament.
I accept that he's entitled to change his mind. I certainly haven't changed my mind.
For this Perth couple, Kevin Rudd's change of heart is a welcome development.
When we first got together 30 years ago, it was against the law in WA to be in a gay relationship. You could be sent to jail with or without a flogging.
Gay rights in WA have come a long way since then, including the right to adopt children. But couples still can't get a marriage licence, something supporters are campaigning for in key seats across Australia.
Graham is referred to on my tax return as my spouse. As simple as we are taxed as a same-sex couple for social security purposes. We are a same-sex couple. We have contributed as a couple to society, in our case for 33 years. We just think that it's about time that relationship was officially recognised by the government.
Morning guys, we're supporting equal marriage.
Gay lobbyists believe the issue could make a difference in marginal seats like Perth, which has a large gay and lesbian community.
It's not just about the economy or asylum seekers or the carbon tax. They're important, but equal marriage is up there now in the top 5.
Labour's campaign comes as part of the UK and New Zealand join a total of 15 countries that have legalised same-sex marriage. But the push for change here is being opposed by a high-profile lobby group representing churches.
We need to have a good look at the ethics around a government that will enshrine a separation of a child and its biological mother or biological father by redefining marriage in this way.
The Australian Christian lobby points to the voting down of same-sex marriage bills as evidence of widespread opposition.
42-98. You won. They lost, OK?
It was defeated in the House of Reps and in the Senate quite resoundingly, 2/3 majority almost on both accounts. We also see in South Australia it was defeated. This issue doesn't actually seem to gain much traction.
But supporters of marriage equality say any future bill would have a good chance of success if Liberal MPs were granted a conscience vote, something they've been pushing for in marginal seats like Brisbane, where the sitting Liberal MP has broken ranks to support gay marriage.
I've decided to declare now that, and bring this shamelessly divisive campaign to an end, that I would support a conscience vote if it was made available in the next Parliament.
Here in WA, the activists are pushing for a similar result in Perth, while Labour's candidate is happy to go on camera.
The fact that gay people would want to be part of this institution is a positive thing. I mean, they are making a very strong statement that they want to live in monogamous relationships and they want to have the opportunity very often to raise children.
Liberal contender Daryl Moore hasn't been available for an interview. Not even the Liberals' first openly gay senator, Dean Smith, who's on the record as being against gay marriage, would talk to the programme.
What a selfie!
Campaigning in WA this week, former Prime Minister John Howard was happy to stand up for the sanctity of marriage.
I'm opposed to it. I'm a great believer in traditional marriage. Always, I have been. I respect people's sexual preferences. It's not a question of prejudice.
It's also a touchy subject within Labour ranks. Senate candidate Joe Bullock, who's previously stated his opposition to gay marriage, also wouldn't be interviewed. Even among churches, there's a diversity of views.
I think I'm unusual in that I'm prepared to say publicly that I support gay marriage.
Father Chris Bedding is leading a push for the Anglican Diocese of Perth to acknowledge that same-sex unions can coexist with traditional marriages.
The kind of Christianity that the Australian Christian Lobby represents is a Christianity with a very tidy God who has a very narrow set of expectations for how people are going to live in relationship and live in households. I tend to think that God is much messier than that.
But the Christian Lobby does have support, especially among the evangelical and Pentecostal churches.
We see in Genesis that marriage and sexual expression is meant to be between a man and a woman in the context of marriage. If we move away from that, we really move away from a whole heap of foundational truths that affect our society.
These churches hope the Liberal Party won't cave in and allow a free vote.
If there are conscience votes on everything, how do we know who to vote for?
What both sides agree on is that same-sex marriage may not be a vote changer for most people, but for some it's crucial. For this couple, who've been together longer than the average heterosexual union, the election campaign might not lead to legislation, but it could change attitudes.
33 years, I mean, how more committed can you be? In all other senses, this is a marriage.
They're hoping they'll be able to make it official within their lifetime.
I'm sort of thinking really something informal. There's a certain irony that not far away there's little gardens called Queen's Gardens. I think it'd be a delightful place to have a wedding.